So I want to say a few words in recognition of Pride Month. The Biden-Harris administration joins Americans across the country to celebrate the extraordinary courage and contributions of the LGBTQI plus community.
There were two instances in recent days where leaders, former President Obama and Georgia Maloney of Italy, they physically put hands on the president to guide him and show him, give stage directions. Are they doing that on their own, or has anybody asked them to run the show like that?
First of all, let me spoke to the most recent, right? And as we saw on Saturday, President Obama's office put out a statement. So I would refer you to that statement about what was being accused in those by others. And he said this did not happen in the sense of what people were saying they were seeing, right? Or what was being falsely reported that they were seeing. Let's not forget, President Obama, President Biden have a relationship. They are friends. They're like family to each other. And I think that's what you saw. You saw the president put his hand on the back of President Biden, and they walked off the stage after taking questions or at an event taking questions from Jimmy Kimmel. That is what you saw.
All right, guys. So on this edition of Cuckoo for Cocoa Puff World, we have to go out to the White House, okay, which is the Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs headquarters of the United States of America, right? Because in Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs world, up is down and down is up, okay? Do not believe your eyes, okay? What you're saying is not true according to the Democrat Party, okay? Inflation is down, crime is down, the border is closed, okay? These are the things that the Biden administration and the mainstream liberal media are telling you, even though the American people feel the exact opposite. Now, what the mainstream liberal media is trying to do is trying to tell you that your eyes are lying when you see that Joe Biden is cognitively falling apart, okay? And he does so on such a frequent basis that the White House and the mainstream liberal media are in full-blown panic mode to now push propaganda on the American people to tell them that, hey, you're not seeing what you're actually seeing here, okay? In fact, what you're really seeing is a cheap fake, okay? It's a form of misinformation when you see that Biden isn't doing well, okay? Like, for example, this video that came out this weekend that the mainstream liberal media en masse, in lockstep with the Democrat Party, have come out and denounced and said, hey, this video is fake. You didn't really see what you actually saw on video, which is Obama dragging Joe Biden, guiding him off the stage, because, again, Joe Biden seemed to get lost in the moment, right? Like he typically does. He got lost at the G7 as well, too. And the prime minister of Italy had to get him back under control, right? To make sure he was going along with the program. Now you're seeing that happen again with Obama. And it's not a good look, because I'm telling you guys, and the mainstream liberal media knows this, the Democrat Party knows this. If Joe Biden has a Mitch McConnell moment, it is over for him. And I don't think it's avoidable, guys. I really don't. Not for too much longer, okay? So with that being said, again, the White House is in full-blown panic, and they're saying that what you're seeing is what they call a cheap fake. Take a look.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more often.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. And I'll quote the Washington Post, where they wrote about this, and they said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post. Ironically, several recent cheap fakes actually attacked the president for thanking troops. That is what they're attacking the president for. Both in Normandy, this happened, and again in Italy. And I think that it tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here. And instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes, these manipulated videos. And it is, again, done in bad faith.
Wow. I'm speechless, guys. At this point, like, we are quite literally living in upside down world. I'm so serious right now. And it's so frustrating. It really is, because they're just flat out telling you to your face that, hey, this wasn't real, even though this is a real video. Okay, this is Obama clearly, as you can see here, grabbing Joe Biden's hand, okay, guiding him off stage. They're trying to tell you, no, that didn't happen. You didn't really see that, right? We saw it at the G7 too. And no, you didn't see that. That didn't happen. Your eyes are lying. Don't believe reality. It really blows my mind that this is where we're at. These are the same people always crying about misinformation and disinformation, but they push so much misinformation and disinformation. These are the main people pushing disinformation, because that's what it is. It's done on purpose, right? Which separates misinformation from disinformation. Disinformation is misinformation being pushed on purpose, right? And that is what's happening from the White House and the mainstream liberal media, okay? And they're doing it in lockstep. Literally, the influencers, the White House, the media, they're all doing it because they believe that you're dumb, okay? They believe that the American people are the stupidest people on the planet, because only a stupid person can listen to Karine's Pierre and accept that explanation as to what we all saw with our own two eyes, right? On video. But they will lie to your face. They will piss on your leg and tell you that it's raining, okay? They'll tell you the sky is green, it's not blue, and then they will expect you to believe it. This is how stupid they think you are. If you vote for these people, I don't know what to tell you, bro. If you are a Democrat and you plan on voting for Joe Biden in November, and you're watching this video, please explain to me why, right? Please explain to me, because if I was a Democrat Party voter, okay, and I listened to this explanation from the White House, and then I'm seeing the mainstream liberal media do this in lockstep, just straight up lie to my face about something that you can clearly see, I would be insulted. I would be intellectually insulted, because that's what they're doing. They're insulting you when they do this. And you know they're lying. And if they will lie to you about this, what else are they lying to you about? They're lying to you about everything. This is what they're doing. Again, that's what really blows my mind about this. It's like, yo, this is the one thing that you shouldn't lie about. Just be honest about it. Joe Biden's falling apart. Because if you come out here and you say that, okay, people are going to say, oh, okay, well, hey, at least they're telling the truth about this. Maybe they're telling the truth about other things. But again, if they lie to you about this, which is the easiest thing for them to tell the truth about, right? If they lie to you, like, imagine what else they're lying to you about. If they will lie to you about something so obvious that you can observe, that everybody sees, all the things going on behind closed doors that you don't see, that you can't verify, just imagine what they're lying about. And here's the thing. These people, again, are the ones trying to run propaganda where they're trying to say, well, what you see with Joe Biden, don't believe that. But what you don't see with Trump, what we tell you that happens behind closed doors with him, oh yeah, you should believe that, because Trump is in much worse shape than Joe Biden. You shouldn't worry about Joe Biden's cognitive abilities. You should actually be worried about Trump, somebody who clearly has shown that he is much sharper than Joe Biden at this point.
Because I really got to know Donald Trump post-presidency, and I got to see what he was like. And over the weekend, he was talking about how Joe Biden needs to take a cognitive test. Joe Biden, isn't all there. Donald Trump had severe memory issues. As the journalist who spent the most time with him, I have to say he couldn't remember things. He couldn't even remember me. We spent an hour together in 2021 in May, and then a few months later, I went back to the White House. I went back to Trump Tower to talk to him about his time in the White House, and he had this vacant look on his face, and I said, "Do you remember me?" And he said, "No." He had no recollection of our lengthy interview that we had, and he wasn't doing a lot of interviews at that time. So I think that the American public really needs to see this portrait of Donald Trump, because this shows what he is like and who he is and who he has always been.
So
Yeah.
John Heilman, I'm thinking,
right.
I'm not going to do this politics thing, but I'm guessing that if you're going to make fun of your opponent for being cognitively disconnected from facts and figures, it's probably good for you to not be disconnected cognitively from facts and figures as Donald Trump was this weekend.
Well, Jim, it's good to see you this morning here on Monday. Or is it Chuck? Chuck Scarborough? Wait, Jim Scarborough? No, Joe.
Exactly.
Joe Scarborough. Yeah, I mean, glass houses, man. You don't want to be throwing stones at. People who live in glass houses shouldn't be throwing stones. That's all I'll say about that.
Well, and the thing is, too, it's getting really more obvious, Mika, that they have the Trump campaign understands they have a serious problem with Donald Trump on facts, on issues, on you name it, because they have to keep engaging in cheap fakes to try to make Joe Biden look bad. And they did it this weekend. They've done it over the past several weeks. They've got the New York Post doing it. The RNC's doing it. All of these right-wing stooges on X are doing it. And if you have to make stuff up, you got to make stuff up. Obviously, you don't feel like you have a strong enough campaign to win outright.
No, I mean, they're grasping in many different ways, but I think that's just Trump being Trump, getting names wrong and getting information wrong, and I don't think he cares.
Wow. Again, it's just so frustrating, right? It really is, because either these people are just completely out of touch with reality, or they're just willingly just lying, right? I think it's both, actually, okay? I think that it might be a little bit of both, okay? I think that they're definitely a little bit out of touch with reality, but I think more so than anything, they're just lying to your face, right? Everything that they say about Trump, that's actually what applies to Biden, okay? But they try to pretend like Biden has no problems at all. It's one thing for them to actually acknowledge the truth and to say that, yeah, Biden has problems, but we also think Trump has problems. That would be one thing, but even then, it's still not really even comparable because, again, Trump is clearly in much better shape than Joe Biden, okay? Period. I mean, Trump is doing 1, 2 hour, 3 hour speeches at a time, multiple times a day. So what the mainstream media does, they'll find one slip up that Trump makes, and then they'll try to make a big deal about it. But you don't have Trump getting lost randomly. You don't have Trump being told what to do or having to have note cards telling him what to do, or else he'll forget, okay? Like, for example, to sit down, okay, to start the meeting, okay, to ask this question or that question or whatever. You just don't see that with Trump, okay? You don't see Trump talking about meeting with dead people, okay, which is what you saw from Joe Biden. Joe Biden also thought a congresswoman who died was alive. Again, you don't see that from Trump. But again, you see these things from Biden on a daily basis. But MSNBC wants to make a big deal out of one random interviewer saying that, well, I interviewed Trump, and then the next week he didn't really remember who I was, even though we had an hour-long interview. And it's like, bruh, who do you think you are? Okay? I mean, when you talk about somebody like Trump, who's probably meeting, hundreds of people a week, right? Yeah, you got to be somebody pretty important for him to actually really remember, okay? Especially after doing just one interview and meeting him just one time, right? I mean, I'm just saying that happens. That's not abnormal, right? Again, this guy thinks he's somebody that he's not. But regardless, the problem is that they can't hide Joe Biden's deficiencies. They can't, because they're going to have him out there on a national stage to show the American people that he can actually be president of the United States. And every time he does that, he screws it up, right? Just like he's going to screw it up at this debate with Trump. And again, the Democrats are panicking because they really don't want Joe Biden to have that Mitch McConnell moment that the mainstream liberal media can't just explain away and say, oh, it's a cheap fake. They know this. I'm telling you.
Is it really inconceivable that if Joe Biden does terrible on June 27th, the Democrats don't start talking about switching horses?
Of course it's not inconceivable. If he falls on his face at the debate, you're going to hear a lot of that. Democrats are wetting their pants right now over nonsense with Joe Biden. So if things go horribly wrong,
they're wetting their pants over nonsense?
There will be a conversation. I think they're wetting their pants over nonsense. Little things like he's looking the wrong way in a photo op, which was clearly not the case when you look at the full picture of what's going on there. I heard so much about that over the last couple of days, not from conservatives, from liberals. And I'm saying to them, relax, everything's going to be okay.
Nah, I don't think everything's going to be okay, right? I think that their panic is justifiable considering how they know that this guy is falling apart. I mean, they spend time with him behind closed doors. There's no doubt in my mind these are the same people that are wiping Joe Biden's butt, because I'm not convinced that Biden can actually use the bathroom by himself at this point. I think he's in that bad of shape. And yeah, I mean, if you have somebody that's a puppet that clearly, again, is falling apart before people's eyes and is very obvious, yeah, I mean, if he face plants during this debate that is rigged in his favor, by the way, okay, this is what the mainstream liberal media have done, then, hey, it's over, right? It really is. You're not going to be able to explain it away. I mean, they can't really explain it away now. Again, looking at the polls, right? The mainstream liberal media propaganda is not working, but the difference is at the debate, there's going to be a contrast between Trump and Biden. Trump is going to be right there. And if the world sees Joe Biden faceplant and fall on his face and clearly underperform Trump when it comes to his cognitive abilities, then it's done. It's over. Like, you're not going to be able to explain that away. I mean, the mainstream media, they're going to look really stupid coming out here pushing their propaganda about Trump is the one that's falling apart, when we just had a debate where you saw Biden fall apart on stage when Trump was right there, and Trump is handling himself well, which I know he will. So, I'm just saying, like, this clown show eventually is going to have to come to an end, right? They're going to have to figure something out, because they're not going to be able to hide it for that much longer. And I just feel like the mainstream liberal media continues to lose credibility, not that they had any, peddling this nonsense that nothing's wrong with Joe Biden and Trump is the person that we need to worry about. And it's an insult to your intelligence as a viewer, is an insult to the American people. And I don't know why they're dying on that hill. I really don't get it. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.